Hello and welcome into another episode of Rolling with My Special Friends. Today we have a very amazing lady with a special story coming to us. She is the Aquatics Coordinator at Lakeshore in Birmingham, Alabama, and she is the coach of their swim team there that has 18 national awards. And I knew when I started hearing about these great things going on at Lakeshore as a foundation, as well as her being involved, we had to bring her in and get her story. And just to let people know what other people are out there doing, inspiring others and helping them to reach new heights in their life. Miss Emily, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, doing just fine. Now, as everybody loves to hear me say, we just jump right into these things and get to know who you are and how you do things. What does it, feel like every day being a swim coach?
That's hard to put into words. I have been at Lakeshore since 2009. But the role of swim coach is relatively new. I started that April of last year. And I was a swimmer growing up, and I knew that that was probably something that I would enjoy, but I didn't realize how much that I would love it, and how special the team is, and how proud of them I am, and just how much they've accomplished over this past year has just truly been amazing to me.
Wow. Well, and that's, what you said is kind of got to be inspiring to you to see all that happening. But at the same way with these young children, they're also looking up to somebody to really point them in the right direction. And for 18 national awards and the things you've got going on at such a short amount of time, that is truly amazing. And it shows, the leadership there at Lakeshore. Now, to back us up just a little bit for people to be able to know who Emily is, kind of tell us, we went to school to kind of work ourselves to this area. So tell us, where did you go to college at?
So I went to Sanford. I grew up in Nashville, and I knew I wanted to go a little bit away from home, but not too far. And I knew I wanted to go to a small Christian school. So Sanford was just the perfect fit. And I majored in exercise science, kinesiology, and we had to do some health assessments at Lakeshore. And for anybody who doesn't know what Lakeshore is, we are in Homewood, Alabama, and right next door to Sanford. And we are a fitness and health facility that serves individuals with physical disabilities and chronic health conditions. And we are also an Olympic and Paralympic training center. So I knew as soon as I walked in the door that Lakeshore was somewhere special and something that I wanted to be a part of. And I was a swimmer growing up, and so I was just really drawn to aquatics in the pool. And there's something that we like to call the Lakeshore effect, which is the kind of the feeling you get when you come in the doors. And that truly was something that I immediately felt. Throughout my time at Sanford, I really thought I wanted to go the physical therapy route. And then as soon as I walked in Lakeshore, I thought, you know what, this is where I want to be. This is where I need to be. I want to be in this type setting.
Well, and that's pretty special in itself that people all the time get feelings that kind of tell them what they should be doing. And a lot of times people don't act on that. They kind of go on with the normal everyday life and just say, well, I need to go do this because my mom said or my dad said. But when you get that feeling and you're supposed to be in that place, it's pretty special to know that you acted on it and followed that up. So now when you were saying you came through Sanford and got ready to go into Lakeshore, and when you walked in, it was how special of a place it was. When you walked in the door, what actually did you start doing there? I know you and I had talked once before, and you said you applied for a job, and what was that job?
So I came in and did, in one of my courses at Sanford, we did some health assessments with the Lakeshore members. And so that at that point in my life was very reserved, and what happened was just very unlike me. I saw the pool, I walked down there, and I said, I want to work here. And I know that that was just the Lord leading me in the direction that I needed to go and that I was supposed to go. And the doors that were opened and the timeline was all him. I mean, that was exactly where I needed to be and still need to be. I started lifeguarding and teaching swim lessons when I was still in school. And then as soon as I graduated, a part-time job in recreation opened up, and I did that for a few months. And then a full-time job in aquatics opened up. And so the pool has always been my love and my passion. So I knew that's ultimately where I wanted to be. And then shortly after that, I was promoted to the job of Youth Aquatics Coordinator. And then I guess probably 4 years ago to Aquatics Coordinator. So I feel very lucky and very blessed that I've been able to stay at Lakeshore doing what I love to do and just advancing and working my way up.
Now, it's pretty obvious, when we talked about at the opening of this thing of you leading these kids and all these different national awards. Get us inside of that swim program just a little bit and tell us, are there anything special, going on? Is there a nutrition program? Is there a mental piece to this program? What absolutely is opening these doors and winning all these awards?
So, I guess I'll kind of back up just a little bit. Lakeshore has had a youth swim team for many years. And that team had originally been coached by someone in athletics. And with the kind of transition of things after COVID in 2020, I just said, look, I really want to be involved in the swim team. This is something I really want to be part of. And so that's kind of where last summer started. And typically the swim team had just been a April to July season, and we had a lot of kids that really showed a lot of potential and wanted to continue throughout the year. And being a swimmer myself, I knew how important it was to keep practicing. So I applied for Lakeshore to become a USA Swimming Club, and that is typically kind of in that world of no disabilities. We are the only club in Southeastern Swimming, which is kind of the local group that we compete in, that has disabilities. So I knew that road was sort of going to be kind of an uphill battle. But we have added in, Lakeshore has some nutritionists on staff and some dietetic interns and a culinary lab. And so we have done some segments on nutrition, and we've gone in the lab and made some healthy pre and post workout snacks. And I gave all of the kids kind of a notebook so they can track their progress. And being a training center, we have some access to some of the USOPC resources. So there are a lot of nutrition sheets of what to kind of how to build your plate for a heavy training day, a moderate training day, when you travel, things like that. This past summer, we added in some dry land practicing. So in addition to the pool stuff, they were doing stuff on land, whether that was in their chair, out of their chair, on a mat, just to kind of work on everything. And I'm just here to give them all the tools to accomplish what they want to accomplish and go where they need to go.
Well, and that's the pretty special thing in listening to this story as well, as you are there to provide those tools for those kids because they need them and they just need to know where to be able to get them. So really get us, I loved hearing that piece about the nutrition and about things to get them, what they needed post and pre-workouts and swimming as well, events. Tell me now, if you're going to say, I don't know how the best way to say it. If you're going to say that you've had some 18 award-winning, life-changing gold medalists here and other things going on, tell us maybe one or two of the special stories in there. Can you, I understand we can have laws and we can't say exact names and stuff like that, but tell me, how many kids or specific kids have you seen their life changed by being in the swimming program?
Wow. Honestly, I would say all of them. We have about 12 kids on the team, and about 7 or 8 of them are actively competing. Some of them are siblings or just want to practice just for exercise, which is definitely fine. And that ranges from ages 10 all the way to 19. So there's a couple of people in particular that when they join the team, and I won't say their names, but they'll know who they are when they listen. They were really reserved and didn't say a whole lot. They at school didn't want to talk about their disability, didn't want to say anything. And now just the way that they have opened up and they have formed bonds among the team. And one of the parents said that I think it was probably the first day of school last year after she had swam over the summer. The first day of school, she walked in and said, "Hey, my name is, and I have spina bifida." And she was just so proud of that, and that was turned into something that she was not ashamed of, that she was proud of. And I think the team has had so much to do with that, just because they each have their own thing that they're going through. No disability looks the same, no child looks the same. And so I think because of that, they really feel like they can be themselves. And we also have one girl who has been at Lakeshore. So I've been at Lakeshore since 2009. So we're coming up on, I guess, 13 years now. And when I started, I guess she was 5 maybe, and she is now 18. And I started working with her and learned to swim when I was in college. And she was actually qualified and went to the U.S. Paralympic Swimming Nationals last year. And watching her grow and develop as a person and a swimmer has just been amazing. And I feel so honored and blessed just to be part of that, and just to see that, from a front row seat. And the bonds that they've created amongst themselves is just amazing. Several of the kids are now doing wheelchair basketball and swimming, or they're doing track and field and swimming. And so being able to, watch them on other teams too has been amazing. I think the thing that I love the most about swimming, and that, being new to the whole athletic world, I think I didn't realize at first, is just the benefits beyond just the pool.
Mm-hmm.
And, seeing them just grow as people has been my favorite thing to watch.
Well, and that's just listening at this story. I mean, that's pretty special to hear those kids that are, opening up, changing their life, trying to become more things than they ever thought they could be, just because they got out there and they tried something. Now, and I know you talked about it earlier about Lakeshore and what it does, and, its mission and the things that it's out there changing. If people are listening to this podcast and want to know how to get involved with Lakeshore, what are the ways that they could go out there and find you guys?
So the best ways would either be our website, which is lakeshore.org, or you're on Facebook, Instagram. I'm personally on both of those as well. So if there are any particular swim questions or aquatics questions, you're definitely able to reach out to me. All of our staff are listed on our website, as well as all of the programs and there's contact information for any of the staff on there. And even if you call the front desk, they're going to get you where you need to go.
Well, and that's what I was about to ask. So if I'm a child or a parent out there listening and I want to be part of this national award-winning swim team, doesn't really matter what part of the country I live in, right? I can still come participate.
That's right. So this summer, we've actually have a couple of distance athletes. We have one girl who came to Lakeshore last summer. She actually lives in Kazakhstan during the school year. Her dad works, I believe, as a diplomat, and so they are there during the school year. But she has family in Huntsville, and so her mom knew, I really want to get her involved in something when we're in the U.S. So they came to tour Lakeshore last year, and then this year she joined the swim team. So we had some communication back and forth during the school year, and then she came and practiced with us once a week during the summer. And she's back now, but I plan to keep in contact with her throughout this year, and she'll be back again next summer. And then we met a girl who lives in Arkansas, who is 15, who is on a swim team herself at home, but doesn't have that disability piece. So she is just on a swim team with kids without disabilities. And so she practices there, but doesn't have that niche of, the resources to go to certain meets and coaching experience and things like that. So we have kind of adopted her. So she is going to be another distance athlete, and I believe she is going to periodically come practice, but she is also going to come with us to meets too. So if there's anybody that, can't get to Lakeshore on a weekly or daily basis, that's okay. And in addition, swim team also have a lot of just youth opportunities that you don't have to be a member to participate in, whether that's a summer camp, Saturday events. You can get just a guest pass for the day. You know, we Children's Hospital does a lot of specialty clinics or intensive therapies. So we've had individuals that have come to join for a 3-week period of time, or even just a day, you know, every couple of months, just to see what we're about and kind of tap into some of our programs.
Gotcha. And that's one of the things that I was wanting to make sure we got out there, was for this reach is not just within the state of Alabama. You guys can accommodate for anybody in the country to come do what they do. Now, another great thing that I noticed that of hanging out with you guys and participating in some events, I've noticed you got a very unique piece there as well. Tell us about this new puppy you got in your program.
Well, her name is Tune, and if you'll give me just a minute, I'm going to hop down so we can see her. So this is Tune. She is our facility dog, and she has been with us since May 28th, and she is from America's Vet Dogs in New York, and she has been a great addition. Can you sit down? Can you sit down? Thank you. She is here to encourage members. She can open doors. She can pick up items off the ground. We even have, oh, you're going to lie down now? Some of the kiddos will take, will work on their fine motor skills, and they'll brush her. She just brightens spirits and unites our staff and our members. Can you sit up? You sit? And she can, hey, sit down, sit down. There we go. She likes to hug. This is her favorite. Good girl. Good girl. You sit down. So I am one of her handlers. There are 2 of us. And so she goes home with me at night, and she comes to work every day, and she loves it. She loves to work. She loves to see people. They're all her friends. We call her our chief canine officer. So, you know, I had no idea when all this was brought up. I was like, gosh, how are we going to handle a dog? Like, what is this going to mean? Like, I feel like I'm busy and in and out of the water all the time. So it's hard. I wasn't sure how she was going to fit into the mix, but it has been absolutely incredible. She has united so many staff together, and there have been so many members that either live alone or they, for whatever reason, don't have the ability to have a dog themselves. And so getting to see her every day has just brightened spirits so much.
Yeah, that's one of the things I've seen over time working with different hospitals and places, especially like children's. When they bring special animals in like this, it can really brighten a child's day. And as you said, those motor skills, it allows them to touch and feel and get them excited over things. And there's things that an animal can do for you that a human can't.
Absolutely. She has her own Instagram. She is Lakeshore Tune Time. And her name, Tune, we weren't really sure at first how that came about, but her entire litter has music names. So she's Tune, there was Q and Radio, and then 2 of the dogs were sponsored, so their names changed. So I'm not sure what they were, but she also has an email address, which is tune@lakeshore.org. So if anyone wants to learn about her or get in contact with her, those are the best ways. And her Instagram is a great way to see what she does every day. She went to camp with us, and you met her at camp, and she absolutely loved it. She was there to greet everyone, and she helped us with our different activities and was there for all our photos, and she loved it.
Well, that's pretty special to have that yet another piece of Lakeshore out there for people to come in and enjoy and just be a part of, because it might inspire them to go home and get them a dog to be able to help them pick things up off the floor and open doors and do all that fun stuff that, everybody wants to do in daily life. And sometimes you think you can't, but that animal could help these kids perform activities they didn't think they could.
Absolutely. And she's from America's Vet Dogs, and sorry to move around here. And they're based out of New York, but they will serve anyone in the U.S. So they're a partner organization with the Guide Dog Foundation. And so they do dogs for individuals who are blind or have low vision. And then the vet dogs piece are for injured veterans. So we were sort of kind of a special situation. We do have a strong military program, and so she did fit within our mission. They have recently started getting into the facility dog track, but there are a lot of resources in Alabama and around the country for kids, for service dogs or dogs that assist with balance or things like that. So if that's ever something anyone's interested in, I'll be happy to talk through more of that as well.
Yeah, I've actually heard of. It's funny you say that. I've talked to a couple people and heard of, and actually even had one myself that would help people realize when they're having a seizure. I've talked to a gentleman that had one that would help him realize when his sugar was getting low for diabetes. Amazing to me how a dog would know when you're getting low with your sugar, but they can feel those type things going on.
They can. It's amazing. And one thing that Tune has really started doing over the past couple of weeks is she has really noticed, like, if someone seems to be down or upset, she'll kind of go and put her head in their lap, and she isn't prompted to do that. She does that on her own. And the kids absolutely love it, but even just the adult members, I had a lady tell me last week. She said, "Oh, I think she knew I needed to see her today." And just seeing that joy on their face has been amazing.
That's pretty special in itself to have that, extra staff member, I'll call it, to be able to put hands on somebody and brighten their day. Now tell us, now that we're talking about stories and things like that, I want to kind of shift gears back to you and tell us some type of funny story out there that most people wouldn't know about Emily.
Oh gosh, I've been thinking about this one, and this one's hard. So, the one that comes to mind the most. So I have a group of friends, and we have been friends since we were in elementary school. A couple of them I went to kindergarten with, and one of them we met at church. And so we would always go on church retreats together. And one year in particular, we did something called Messy Games. And so I'm not a big Messy Game fan, and neither were my friends. So somehow they all got out of these games, and that left me by myself. And one of my friends, her name is Betsy. When she watches this, she's going to die laughing. She can't tell this story to this day without laughing so hard. But we had to twirl around with a bat and make us dizzy, and then run with goggles and flippers on to a baby pool. And so just picture all of them watching, and then I face planted into the pool. And they just thought it was the funniest thing ever. And to this day, I will never live that down.
Well, and that's, part of life is just out there having those fun type events going on. And even though you, were the, what do you want to call it, the butt of their joke, it was still funny to be able to have that memory and just enjoy life doing it. And I think these kids out there are going to enjoy hearing Miss Emily had a little fun in her life.
Oh yeah, it was funny, that's for sure.
Now tell us, let's switch right back to the swimming part of it and get us into the mode of what's upcoming. Tell me things out there to be looking for. What's next for swimming?
So we have now started our fall season. So we are going to be going to some local USA swimming meets that are hosted by Birmingham Swim League at the Birmingham Crossplex. So we're going to we have one in September, one in November, and I believe January and February. And then we're also going to throw in some meets that are hosted by U.S. Paralympic Swimming. So we're going to Georgia for one of those in October. And then I believe after that, the next regular season meet for them is in May. And then we have two kiddos that are already qualified and going to go to Paralympic Nationals again this year. That's going to be in December. They have not released the date yet, but that is live streamed. So if anyone wants to watch that, all of that goes on Lakeshore's Facebook page, and all of those updates are on there, or Instagram as well.
Yeah, that's what I was about to ask. Two things is one is people watching. So obviously we can come in and watch a live stream through Lakeshore. How do people get involved? Is there a private way that if we had a sponsor out there that wanted to get involved with your team, can they sponsor the team, or is that all financially already taken care of?
So any of that would go through our development department. I don't personally handle that, but they're welcome to get in contact with me, and I can put them in contact with the particular person to do that.
Okay. And a next step, I guess I'd say for some of these kids, when they leave you, are you trying to, or are there avenues to transition them from you into a college program?
There are. So we have one girl who, the one who I mentioned, has been at Lakeshore that I met when she was 5. She is hoping to swim at Montevallo this next fall. So I will, she is actually also swimming on her high school team. So there are a lot of resources and getting in this USA swimming world that we've done this past year. They have a database and they keep all their times in there. So any coach can look at those. I can send all of those. Any of the meets that are local at the Crossplex, anyone can come watch. So any child who has that goal in mind, we can kind of start early and get them in contact with the coaches. The U.S. Paralympic Swimming also has a representative that really handles that like college track. And so she can kind of get them hooked up with programs that have either adaptive swimmers or adaptive programs or coaches in the area that can help them. And then in addition to that, they can remain on the Lakeshore team as long as they want to. So, we kind of started out as the youth team, but we've noticed that, as kids finish high school, they either are not going to college right away, or they want to maintain that home team where they can still compete or participate with their friends, maybe the summer that they're home or their, Christmas of college and things like that. So we're kind of expanding the team and just that USA swimming team. Lakeshore also has a masters team and US Masters is just another governing body for swimming for anyone over 18. And they can go that route as well. That team practices twice a week and we have a lot of our older adults on that team. So, we want to grow with them and help them get to where they need to go. And one thing that's really been beneficial with being plugged into the U.S. Paralympic swimming world is they have a lot of those resources and, introducing those kids to the people that they need to meet and to seeing, to see these gold medal Paralympians and where they want to go and learning from them, their track, has been great. Sorry, that's probably a very long answer to your question. But we'll if we don't know how to get them there, we'll figure out the resources to get them connected to who they need to be.
Well, I just love hearing the whole story because it's amazing how you can transition a child from a child all the way up into a teenager and even going into college. And Lakeshore offers everything they need under one roof. And it's just amazing to me to hear about Lakeshore.
It truly is a really special place. I don't take for granted that I get to work here and that I get to be just a small part of that. If I encourage everyone to go online and, look at pictures of the facility, and it's truly amazing. And I know that I, am just a very small part of the success of these kids. And I feel very lucky and blessed to be at Lakeshore.
Well, I'm going to say a little something different there. That's one of the main reasons we've having this podcast today is because Miss Emily is a lot bigger piece than she realizes she is. That name just keeps coming out every time I talk to somebody about that place and about what's going on. It's about the things you're doing and changing lives. So we knew we had to have you on the show to be able to hear, what led you there. And then it's amazing to me what you're doing because of the kids and the families that just keep saying, how they love being under you, how they love their child being your coach, being you coaching them. I mean, it's just amazing to me to know that there are special people out there. And that's kind of what our podcast is all about, is telling people, about special people's stories and about how they got to where they are and how they change lives, to me, one day at a time is pretty neat. So, to kind of wrap this thing up, I want to be able to throw our signature series question out there to you and get your take on it. If all of this was over tomorrow and everything had ended and one of your students, got to write a book about yourself and your life, and we were all honored enough to have the chance to be able to read this book, what would you hope people read in a book about the life of Emily?
I think that this is a hard question. There's a lot of different things that I hope people think about, but I think the biggest is just that I made a difference. And even if I made a difference in one person's life, it was worth it. And for somebody to know, she cared about me as more than just a swimmer, as a person. And that she pushed me and encouraged me to achieve things that I never thought I could.
Well, and that's, that really sums it up the best way I know how to say it. You are doing that. You are, changing lives, and you are doing what, most people out there that I hear are motivated to do this. If they change one life, it's worth it to them. And what happens is by trying to change that one life, you change hundreds of lives. Sometimes people change thousands of lives, one person at a time. You plant that seed in that one kid, and that kid that you trained goes out and trains the next generation of kids. So I think you're doing an amazing job over there, what you're doing of that aspect of one kid at a time. Now, tell us, before we go and before we let you go, again, how do we get in touch with Lakeshore? How do we get in touch with Emily if we're parents and kids and people out there wanting to get involved in this great thing? How do we get involved?
So I would go to the Lakeshore website, which is lakeshore.org, and my contact information is on there, and my email address is just emilym@lakeshore.org, and I'm on Facebook and Instagram as well. So any messages or phone calls on those platforms, I will definitely get it. And if I can't answer your question, I will get you to the person that can.
Well, there you go. Well, thank you, Miss Emily, for coming on today. We really appreciate your time.
Thank you for having me. I'm very honored to be here. This was great. I hope everyone learns about Lakeshore and comes to visit us.
Oh yeah, I'm sure they are going to be lining up to be able to come over there and check this thing out. All right, everybody out there listening, like and subscribe our page, and tune in next time to be able to hear the next great story about the next special person we have going.